Guys, today I'm going to be talking about the mindset of an artist and basically just how I deal with those negative, intrusive thoughts that a lot of us have, and also just giving tips on how I combat those to honestly just feel better. Now, I try to have a positive outlook on things as much as I can. Sometimes we just have these negative thoughts that come out, and the first one that I'm going to talk about is self-deprecation. For example, oh, I suck at this, or I'm never gonna be good, or I'm a trash artist, those things, that's what I'm gonna be talking about. You know, it's one thing to be joking and to have a good laugh at yourself every now and then. I know I definitely do because it's part of my humor, but you have to be careful with how you speak to yourself if you do this repetitively. Those kinds of words that you tell yourself can be harmful to you because at some point, if you keep saying these things to yourself, you may or may not start to believe it subconsciously. So I've seen so many comments, mainly under bigger creators and other art videos, of people kind of comparing themselves and basically throwing themselves under the bus. And it's like you have to think about how often you are saying these things and figure out why you feel this way. And if you are not good at a certain aspect of art, and this is why you're saying it, like because you're not good at coloring or line art or sketching or whatever it is, just remember that 1, that is perfectly normal. 2, art can be very difficult, so cut yourself some slack. Artists tend to be very hard on themselves and very self-critical, so remember to take the time to be kind to yourself. And the next time that you have a negative thought, counter it. I like to counter it with a couple compliments. So I'll give 2 compliments to myself, simple ones. Compliment yourself on the fact that you actually sat down and tried to draw. Celebrate that. You have to celebrate the small wins. And not only with art, but in life as well. Another thing that you can do is think about the factors that may affect your current art that you're working on. For example, are you tired? That's gonna affect your work. Have you been working on something else the whole day and your brain is mush? Those are the kind of factors that you have to think about when you are drawing and something is not going quite your way. Be kind to yourself and think about those things that can affect whatever you're doing or trying to do. And for number 3, age and skill level do not matter. Why? Because age and skill do not always correlate. And that's something that sometimes I think about when I see younger artists, especially on Instagram. I see this more. I see younger artists that are like 15 and 12 and 14 and all these like younger ages, like basically at like this advanced skill level. And I'm just like, whoa, dang, maybe I should be there. Like I'm older than that, so, but you can't think like that because everyone's circumstances are different. They may draw more than you, they may draw less than you, they may have help, they may not. It really is different person to person, and so you cannot compare yourself. Some people have more time to draw than others, and some people don't because they have other obligations. So age and skill do not always correlate, and you can start art at any time. Remember that drawing is, in fact, a skill at the end of the day. The next thing that I want to talk about is don't be afraid to explore and try new things. If you draw a certain way or in a certain style, don't be afraid to try new things. I was stuck thinking that I could only do realism for years, and that's because of the positive feedback that I was getting. And because of that, I boxed myself in and I was afraid to try anything else in fear of rejection. But that was until I took the leap and tried something new. And honestly, I would do that over in a heartbeat. Trying something new also applies to new mediums. So if you can and you want to change things up, lately I've been making clay items and painting them for fun. If you're able to, I highly recommend it. It helps me stay creative, and it's nice to have work for yourself to enjoy without the pressure of posting it or showing it to others. Something else that I tend to think about is timing and progress. People learn at different paces, and so that means it's not fair for you to compare how fast someone else catches on, whether that might be sooner than you. And this relates back to the age tip. Everyone's circumstances are different, so you have to keep that in mind when it comes to timing. As for progress, you can get better with time with whatever you're working towards. And something that can boost your progress, yes, is setting goals, but also paying attention to how you are learning and practicing. Trying new methods of doing something is a simple idea to help you figure out the most efficient way of learning or practicing that works for you and your schedule. Just know that if you stay consistent and learn what works for you, you can get where you want to be. Consistency can be any time frame as long as you're consistently doing it. So that can be once a month, once a year, once a week, twice a year, twice a week, whatever it is, whatever you choose. Picking a time frame and sticking to what you can handle is a good way to track your progress. You can also reassure that you are progressing by checking back on your older work and other things that you've made to catch differences, whether they be small mistakes or big mistakes. Next is perfectionism. This is something that I also went through and I still struggle with from time to time, and I feel like social media just made it blossom even more. Definitely not in a good way, but it's also part of being an artist sometimes. And when you're working on something, if you feel like you need to have everything perfect, just know that you don't. And for example, if you're sketching something challenging, are you going to expect yourself to have it down the first try or the second try? No. If you are not in the habit of doing something, are you going to expect yourself to show up right away, day in and day out? No. Why? Because for me, I know that's not realistic. You are likely to stumble first and miss some days and mess up. You have to give yourself room, understanding, and that acceptance, not only in the beginning, but throughout the journey. It takes a long time to build habits for things to come to you like it's second nature. So try to be patient. With repetition and habit building, things will start to lean in your favor eventually. You can also apply this to smaller things like doodling every couple days or working on your line art quality, whatever it may be. Be patient with yourself and don't expect everything to be a certain way or aesthetic or perfect. Lastly is failure. This is what I tell myself as I am still getting used to failure, and that is each failure is a stepping stone and also a miniature lesson if you treat it that way. The way that I think of it is the only way that you are going to get better is by failing over and over again. Someone that you see that is basically where you want to be may have gone through failure so many more times than you have and got the outcome of what they wanted, and that is what you're seeing right then and there. So because art is in fact difficult, at times, you have to be ready to encounter many failures and keep trying regardless of them. The more you fail, the easier it'll feel to deal with these failures. And if you learn from them, that is the key. You have to learn from your failures. You have to figure out what you can take from them and how to apply that to whatever new thing that you're going to be working on or that you are working on. Think about your past failures and what you've learned so far. And also, being afraid to fail is something that is also a thing, which that's a whole nother topic. Failure is something that we all have to get used to as an artist, and you have to be ready to stand back up every single time that you get knocked down. With that being said, I hope this video was helpful and insightful in some way. I tried to do something a little bit different with the format of this video. But yeah, let me know if this helped. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.